New York Giants and the New Orleans Saints, guys, as we take a look at this one, the Saints are 7 or 7.5 point favorites, depending on where you look. 7.5 at MGM, 7.5 at DraftKings, 7 at FanDuel, a total that has plummeted all the way down to 41 at MGM. You can still find a 42 out there at DraftKings right now. This is a matchup here of a really bad. I'm going to say bad. A really interesting offense, I guess, from the Saints side of things, but a really good defense on the Saints side of things. And then we have this New York Giants team that's coming in all kinds of beat up at the wide receiver position. Not a whole bunch of playmakers there for Daniel Jones to really get going with. That being said, both of you guys have decided to take the Giants +8. Stephen, I'll start with you. You're going to back the New York Football Giants in this thing against a good defense. Explain yourself.
I don't think this is as bad as backing the Jaguars in week 2. I will say that. I think that, the 8 is gone that I bet earlier in the week, but if you can get a 7.5, maybe it gets there across the board with some public money on the Saints on Sunday. I'd be good with that. I think the Giants are live in this game. I really do. I think the Saints are winning games with an offense like it's 1992, and I'm not sure that's sustainable in the year 2021. So I think New York has been a little unlucky in back-to-back games here. They were actually more efficient on a per play basis than their opponents, but lost both of those games by a combined 4 points. And look at the offenses. The Giants 14th in DVOA and the Saints are 19th in DVOA. The Saints offense has 261 yards passing combined in their 2 wins this year. So can they keep relying on their defense is the question in this one, with an offense that's bottom 5 in yards per play. So if you look at those situations, I'm going to bet on the offense that was a little bit better, considering that I'm getting more than a touchdown at this point. And if you look at the pace scenarios and the pace statistics for both of these teams, if the Giants get behind, they are 5th in second half pace. They are 2nd in pace when trailing by 7+ points. And the Saints are bottom 5 in pace in first and second half. So that's a good situation if you're trying to play catch up and if we need a backdoor situation. So I like a lot here to take the Giants and the points in this game.
Brad, you also are on the New York Football Giants +8 against the Saints. I'm actually against you guys here, at least a little bit. We both could win our bets for sure. What do you have here in the Giants at 8?
Yeah, well, it's similar in that I think it's very tough to lay 8 points with an offense that's struggling as much as the Saints are. And I think Sean Payton is showing us what he thinks of Jameis Winston, right? With, they're kind of top 5 in most run-heavy teams. They haven't cracked 150 passing yards yet. And to me, I think the game last week summed it up where, they got a punt block to set them up the short field. They got a pick 6 off a drop pass. And then Jameis threw up that kind of 10-yard touchdown pass where I think he admitted after the game, I couldn't see. And then Sean Payton shouting at him on the sideline, going like, "What are you doing? Don't just chuck it out like that." And Jameis told a reporter after the game, he said, God guided the ball. And he told the reporter, "Yeah, I told Sean Payton that God guided the ball." So, I don't know, maybe God's on the Saints again this week, but I don't think it's not a sustainable offense, and I don't think it's a good offense, and I don't think Sean Payton trusts his quarterback. Then they're missing their left tackle, Terran Armstead, like all-pro left tackle, one of the very best in the league. They're missing their center, Eric McCoy, who he was kind of the kind of the play caller, almost calling out the blitzes to pick up. Yeah, I do think they will struggle against this Giants defense. Now, of course, Giants are going to be could be missing their 2 receivers, Shepard and Slayton. They're both questionable. I couldn't really find any info on whether they'll play. So that's tough. But they've got Golladay, they've got Ingram, they've got some stuff. And as I say, if we think that the Saints are struggling to get past 20, then I think 8 points is very valuable.
Yeah, all 3 actually didn't practice on Wednesday in Golladay, Slayton, and Shepard. Golladay, that said, does look like it was more of a rest day, maintenance day for him. But the other 2, with those being hamstring type things and stuff, it doesn't look too promising for those guys. So I took the Saints here at -2 in a teaser leg. This defense is really really good. And you're going up against, and I understand he's looked good in a small sample size so far. Daniel Jones has actually graded out as one of the better quarterbacks according to Pro Football Focus through the first 3 weeks of the season. But again, that was with his big time safety blanket out there in Sterling Shepard. I don't think Sterling Shepard plays in this game. And you are now going to ask him to get this done in a major step up in competition against this Saints defense that has given hell to everybody that they've gone up against this year, which is really the only way that this team has actually been able to win any games so far is on the back of this defense. And I honestly believe as well that I buy into what y'all are saying about Jameis, that Sean Payton is probably going to pull back a little bit of what he asks of Jameis Winston. But that said, I also believe that this run game can get it done against the Giants as well. On a defensive side, if you were going to attack this defense right now, 23rd run defense DVOA according to the and then according to Pro Football Focus, they're the 20th defense DVOA. So you can attack them on the ground, kind of go after those guys. And the rush offense of the Saints, as bad as the offense has been pretty good. Pro Football Focus has them up at second in the NFL as far as run offense goes. So if you're asking me, can the Saints get this done on that defense and only have to win by a field goal at home in a reunion game here, coming to the Dome for the first time this season? That crowd is going to be absolutely bonkers in there. I actually think there is a small, I don't believe in home field advantage near as much anymore, but as far as the Saints go down there in the Superdome, home field advantage is definitely a real thing. So I'll take it under a field goal here and feel pretty good about it. Hopefully we can all win. As long as, you guys can have the 8, I'll have the 3, and then we can both win on this game.